Hey there, deep divers. Ready to dive into something really fascinating?
Let's do it.
Today, we're going deep into the world of con artistry.
Ooh, that's a good one.
We're taking a look at this YouTube video that breaks down Maria Konnikova's book, The Confidence Game.
Okay.
Have you ever seen those crazy cons and thought, how could anyone fall for that?
Oh, yeah. All the time.
Well, this deep dive is for you. We're going to unpack the psychology behind why we fall for these tricks and, most importantly, how to protect ourselves.
You know, what I find fascinating is how this goes beyond just avoiding scams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really about the psychology of persuasion and how it works.
That's interesting.
It affects us every single day, not just in those big, elaborate con schemes.
Okay, so the video starts off with a pretty bold statement. They say that every single one of us, we all have vulnerabilities that a skilled con artist could use against us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's true? Are we all just walking targets out here?
It is a little unsettling, but yeah, I think there is some truth to that.
Right.
You know, psychologist Jeffrey Simpson, he studied this, how people avoid getting too close to others because they're afraid of what they might find out.
About themselves? Or...
About themselves or the other person. Uncomfortable truths, you know?
Oh, yeah.
We might not want to admit it, but we all have insecurities and anxieties.
Right.
And a good con artist, they can spot those and use them.
So it's like they're playing on our deepest fears and desires.
Exactly. The video talks about this woman, Debra.
Okay.
She had just lost her job and her boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
Feeling super vulnerable, she goes to a psychic for guidance.
Ooh, I could already see where this is going.
All right, total red flags. And that psychic, they immediately pick up on her fragile emotional state.
Yeah.
And you know what? They end up convincing her to hand over $27,000.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
That's heartbreaking. To take advantage of someone in such a vulnerable position.
It's a powerful reminder that these con artists, they're experts at building trust. They often use charisma to make themselves seem super likable and trustworthy, even if it's all fake.
Right.
And it's not just about being charming. They try to create this sense of similarity, you know? Like, we're just alike. We get each other.
Oh, so it's like they try to become your best friend in 5 minutes.
Exactly. And there's actually research on this. Psychologist Lisa De Bruyne found that we're way more likely to trust people we see as similar to ourselves.
That makes sense.
Whether it's shared hobbies, values, even just how we look, we gravitate toward people who get us. And con artists, they're masters at faking that connection.
That's so sneaky. The video gives another example with this woman, Joan.
Oh, yeah.
She falls head over heels for this guy, Greg. Seems perfect, attentive, caring, but surprise, surprise, he's a con man.
Classic. Sounds like Greg was a pro at manipulation.
Yeah.
Creating this whole persona to get Joan to trust him.
It all goes back to that sense of similarity thing, huh?
Exactly. They mirror your words, opinions, even your body language. It's all about building instant rapport.
So how do they actually pull it off? What are some of the tricks they use?
Well, one that's really common is the foot in the door technique.
Okay.
Get you to agree to a small, harmless request, and then, bam, you're more likely to say yes to bigger requests later on.
The video actually tells this funny but kind of crazy story about a Nigerian prince who turned out to be a 14-year-old kid.
You're kidding?
Nope. He put an ad in the paper for pen pals, but then he snuck in a tiny request.
Like what?
Asking for $4 in exchange for some rare jewels, supposedly.
No way! People fell for that.
They did.
Wow.
It's kind of wild, but it shows how effective that technique can be.
Yeah, even with something small like a few bucks, it's about getting that initial commitment. Once we've said yes once, we're primed to say it again, even if it doesn't make sense.
So we're trying to be consistent with our past actions, even if it's against our better judgment.
Exactly. This isn't just some theory. There was a Stanford study where they found that stay-at-home moms were much more likely to do a long phone survey.
Oh, wow.
If they had agreed to answer a few short questions beforehand.
So that first yes is like giving them permission to keep going.
Exactly. It creates a sense of momentum. And remember, this foot in the door thing, it's just one of their tactics.
Okay, so they're using psychology to manipulate people. What else should we watch out for?
Well, besides building trust and using these clever tactics, they're also amazing at playing on our needs and blind spots, using our own optimism against us.
Ooh, give me an example of that. That sounds scary.
You want scary? The video talks about this university professor.
Okay.
This guy is supposed to be super smart, right?
Yeah.
He ends up falling for an online scam and becomes a drug mule.
What? No way. A university professor.
Yep. It's crazy how even the smartest people can fall victim.
I mean, how is that even possible?
These scams, they tap into our desires and play on our biases. You know, the video mentions a study with college students. They always overestimated how happy they would be in the future.
Really?
Yeah, they thought their grades would be better, relationships stronger, everything rosier than it turned out to be.
So it's not just about being gullible.
Right.
It's how our brains are wired to see things. We tend to be optimistic, see things with rose-colored glasses.
Exactly. And con artists know that. They use it. They paint this picture of a brighter future, more money, romantic love, whatever it is.
And because we want those things so badly.
We become more susceptible to their manipulation.
So they're preying on our hopes and dreams. This is getting kind of dark.
It can be, yeah. But remember, being aware of all this is our best defense.
Okay.
Understanding the psychology behind it helps us recognize the signs and protect ourselves.
And not about being paranoid or just trusting everyone.
No, not at all. It's about being informed and using good judgment.
That makes sense. But if they're so good at what they do, how can we truly protect ourselves? We've talked about vulnerabilities, trust building, classic tricks. But is there anything else they use against us?
You hit the nail on the head. There's another layer to this, and it's pretty powerful. They use our fear of damaging our reputation against us.
Wait, what? Explain that.
Remember how we talked about how much people value their reputation?
Yeah.
Con artists use that fear to keep their victims silent, even when they start to suspect something's wrong.
So people might know they've been conned, but they're too embarrassed to say anything.
Exactly. It's like a secret weapon for them. The video has this amazing example from 1915. This rumor spread that Queen Elizabeth had a secret son with Sir Francis Drake.
Wait, what? That's wild.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
Well, this descendant of theirs was supposedly fighting a legal battle to get their inheritance back. And anyone who helped pay for legal fees would get a share of the fortune. Over 70,000 people invested.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
70,000?
And when it turned out to be a hoax, not a single person spoke up.
Wow. They all knew they'd been tricked, but were too afraid to say anything.
Think about it. 70,000 people conned. But they stayed silent, probably out of embarrassment.
That's unbelievable.
It's a powerful example of how strong that fear of reputational damage can be.
It plays on our desire to look smart and competent.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to be the fool. So we stay quiet, even when speaking up might help others.
You got it.
Okay, I'm starting to feel like I need to look over my shoulder everywhere I go.
Uh-huh.
This is a lot to take in. What can we do? Is there any hope?
Of course. Don't worry. Like I said, awareness is our best defense. Understanding the psychology of these cons, it's the key to recognizing those warning signs and protecting ourselves.
Okay.
It's not about living in fear or distrusting everyone.
Gotcha.
It's about being informed and using good judgment.
So being smart and cautious, but not letting fear run our lives.
Exactly.
What are some things we should look out for so we don't become a victim?
Well, the biggest thing is to trust your gut. If something feels off, too good to be true,
Right.
it probably is. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
Do your research. Get a second opinion.
Especially with big decisions.
Yeah, like finances, anything with your personal info.
So don't let those flashy promises cloud your judgment.
Exactly. Take your time, do your homework.
What about when they pressure you to make a quick decision?
Oh, yeah, that's another classic tactic.
So they can bypass our rational thinking.
Yep, they want us to act impulsively.
That makes sense. They don't want to give us time to really think things through.
Exactly. A real opportunity will still be there tomorrow.
That's a good point. What about all the personal info we share online?
Ooh, yeah, that's a goldmine for con artists.
I feel like that's risky.
Definitely. Be super careful who you give your info to, both online and offline.
Right.
Con artists are really good at gathering information about their victims.
How? Like, how do they do that?
Sometimes just through conversations, social media posts, things like that.
Stuff that seems harmless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the more they know,
And easier it is to manipulate you.
you got it. It's like they're piecing together a puzzle,
Uh-huh.
and every little bit of information helps them figure out how to manipulate you.
So what, like, too much flattery or attention, should that be a red flag?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's great to feel appreciated, But con artists often use charm and flattery as a weapon.
Don't let it go to your head.
Exactly. Stay grounded. No one is perfect, no matter how charming they seem.
Good advice.
Mm.
What about intelligence? Does that protect you from being conned?
Remember what we said earlier, everyone has vulnerabilities.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter how smart, educated, or successful you are.
we all have a weak spot, like a university professor, right?
Exactly.
Now,
The key is to be aware of your weaknesses and take steps to protect yourself.
okay.
And if you do fall victim to a con, don't be afraid to get help. There are resources out there. You're not alone.
This has been a real eye-opener. Learning about the psychology behind all of this is, well, it's scary, but also fascinating.
I know what you mean.
Makes you think about your own blind spots.
It's a good thing to reflect on.
What are those things that someone might try to exploit? And how can we protect ourselves, even in situations that seem harmless?
The best defense is awareness. Always.
Okay.
By understanding how these cons work, we can all become more discerning, more resilient, more empowered.
So it's not about living in fear, it's about using this knowledge to navigate the world with confidence.
Exactly.
That makes sense. And that actually leads me to a thought-provoking question to wrap things up. What if, and this is kind of crazy, but what if we viewed every interaction, like negotiating, giving a presentation, even just chatting, as the chance to practice these persuasion principles? Ethically, of course.
I love that. Flip the script.
Yeah. So instead of worrying about being manipulated, we can learn to be more persuasive ourselves, but in a way that helps everyone.
Exactly. Think about it. Building rapport, establishing credibility, presenting your ideas clearly.
Yeah.
Those are skills that can help you in any area of life.
It's like we're turning the tables on the con artists, right?
Exactly. Taking your playbook and using it for good.
Using the same techniques, but for ethical and positive reasons.
Yeah, to inspire, motivate, persuade.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on communication and influence.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to learn about psychology and persuasion.
This has been amazing. I want to keep learning about all this. It's been fascinating and honestly pretty empowering.
Me too. And for all you deep divers out there, remember, stay curious, keep learning, and never forget to trust your gut.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into con artistry. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay safe.